Hello, everyone. I'm Grant Shih, along with my co-creator and friend, Joe Marroquín. We're here with another episode of Executive Points of View. In today's topic, we're going to be discussing this concept of menu of services. Now, menu of services is something very near and dear to our hearts, something that we've discussed a lot and actually implemented across many of the organizations that we've had the privilege to serve in our career. And the concept is really around this, that at the end of the day, everybody is working on teams and organizations that are designed to meet the needs of some type of an end customer. And that delivery is often through a menu of services, very similar to, say, a restaurant, where you go in understanding what you're getting, having a certain set of expectations on the food, the quality, and overall what that experience of that meal is going to be. And I think if you take that concept into the corporate world, that's how many teams as well as organizations can and probably should be run. And so today we're going to discuss and define what that concept of menu of services is, what types of things should be on that menu, and what types of things should not be on that menu. And then finally, a look into how do you evolve the menu of services by listening to your customer and understanding what things need to change for your business. So to start us off, Joe, I know you and I have talked about this quite a bit. Can you please share some of your thoughts around menu of services and how that plays out as value to a company?
I think many times, at least one of the challenges that I see is that we become too specialized. As I only care about making my main course. I only care about making my fries or my particular drinks, and we don't keep in mind that we are part of a cohesive, larger entity that is working to provide something for customers. You can have the best fries in the world, but if you're not serving your main courses, your customers aren't going to come.
Yeah, I would say you go to a restaurant because at the end of the day, you're looking for some type of an experience. Right. Whether you go to a fast food restaurant or a Michelin star quality restaurant, you're looking for that meal experience. And if people aren't working together, then you get just a random selection of dishes, but that doesn't culminate in an experience that's memorable.
Exactly. And then I think that we also sometimes forget about the people who cut across the services. So you have people who just keep on the lights. They're just working on things like AC, the look and feel of the restaurant, the signage outside. So there are people who are not specialized at providing a specific menu, but their menu cuts across the entire enterprise. And if it goes down or if there's an issue, cybersecurity is an example of that in a corporate enterprise where we cut across the entire enterprise. And it has to be on. The lights can't go out or you are not in service.
That's right, shared services.
It's a shared service.
Yeah, and IT departments and security departments often fall into that type of categorization. You're right.
So my question to you is, and where I'd like to hear you elaborate a little bit on this, is how do we make the shift? How do we make the shift? I mean, at the end of the day, we've talked about this. We are executives first in the enterprise, but we are responsible for a set of services or our own menu of services. So how do we make the shift to making sure that we provide the best services that we can to an enterprise, to our fellow customers, so that we can serve our customers out there without losing sight of that bigger whole that we are a part of?
Yeah, thank you, Joe. Great question. This is the reason why this topic is so important to me and to us. I think when you talk about that concept, it's really about understanding what experience, as we mentioned before, your customer is looking for. What are the expectations? What are the things that are valuable to them? And until we learn to truly listen and to truly understand and accept that we are here to serve some other entity besides ourselves. Right. And what I mean by that is you talk about the evolution. I think it's important for all of us to take a very adult-minded look at what we're good at in our organization, in our teams, and what we're not good at. And match that with what do people expect us to be good at, and what do people not care that we're good at. So using your restaurant analogy, if you are an excellent burger shop, and people come to you because they love your burgers, your fries, your shakes, and all of a sudden you introduce fish to the menu because you have someone who is great at making fish. Don't be surprised if people don't buy your fish because your marketing, your brand, your image is geared around burgers. And all of a sudden this new thing comes in the menu that you're very proud of and you say, we are very efficient and very good at making fish, but people aren't asking for that from you. And so rather than over-index and over-invest in your fish-making capability, listen to your customer and understand, is that something that they care about? Translating this back into our business world and our corporate worlds, I think too many times teams fall victim to, well, we're really good at portal development. But if nobody in your enterprise or your customers use your portal, now I believe you're over-investing in something that really should not be on your menu of services.
Right. Now, there's a question here around how do you adjust and how do you stay on top of market trends? Because like if we go back to the restaurant analogy, we could say, are you really serving burgers or are you serving people for lunch? And at what point do you intelligently assimilate or absorb the right changes in the market? If we look at, for example, 20 years ago, online shopping was not something that people did. But today, every day you have, or at least I have deliveries that show up with everyday items where I used to go to some giant store to find them. I used to go to small stores, then at some point I started going to big stores, and then at some point I just went online. So the taste of the consumers changed, and it is important to understand how that's changing. So how do you think, and I think we're going to talk a little bit about organizational assimilation in another episode, but I think it's important for us to kind of understand how the menu might change over time.
Yeah, a good observation, Joe. It really comes down to understanding what your mission is and being aligned on it. And so as an enterprise, as a team, whatever entity you're talking about, if you don't have that alignment, if you don't have that shared understanding, are we here to deliver an experience? Are we here to deliver the cheapest burger? Are we here to deliver boxes of everyday goods in the most cost-efficient way? Whatever that mission is, that's for an organization to decide and get people aligned with. And once that happens, then I think everyone can work towards that, and everyone's individual menu of services should fall into making sure that thing
Those
happens.
categories. Make sure you have your focus. Make
Yes.
sure you have your focus on what you deliver to your customer.
That's right.
And keep that focus.
That's right. And again, we've got to resist the urge to say, yeah, but I'm really good at this.
Right.
But if no one wants that,
Nobody wants
and
it.
if your organization's not known for that, and you're trying to force your way in to deliver something that people are not asking for or valuing, I think that's the key. If they're not valuing it, then don't be surprised that you're spending time and cycles on something that often leads to frustration, right? So,
Right, and you wind up with kind of losses within the enterprise.
Exactly.
Waste. Actually,
Exactly.
it's probably waste.
So Joe, on this topic of services, I do want to take a second to acknowledge and thank you for your service.
Thank you, Ryan.
As a combat veteran for our country, I know you do still actively a lot of work with the VFW. Could you share a little bit about that with us?
Thank you very much, Grant, for that. Yes, I'm fairly active with my VFW post 12,002. Our marquee event for the year is a golf tournament that's held in the fall. The proceeds from that tournament go to buy toys for service members who are on active duty and who happen to be deployed at the time. So we generally partner with one of the military bases here in Georgia, and we take all the proceeds from that event to buy toys for them, brighten up the children's lives a little bit while they're going to have to spend the holidays without their parents. If you want any more information on that, just feel free to just reach out to me, and I'll happy to provide more data.
Sounds like a wonderful event.
Thanks, Grant. And on that, I think I'll let you probably close this one.
Yeah, so thank you all for tuning in to this episode of Executive Points of View. We hope that it brought some thought-provoking concepts to you that you can discuss with your teams, and we will see you next time.
Thanks, everyone.